You're not doing it wrong. You're just missing three spots. If you've ever been in a moment with a man and thought, am I even doing this right? I want you to breathe for a second, because that little doubt in your chest doesn't mean you're inexperienced. It doesn't mean you're boring. It doesn't mean you're not enough. It usually means you've been trying to guess what he wants without knowing what actually works on a deeper level. And here's the part nobody says out loud. Most women are touching the right person, but in the wrong places. Not wrong in a dramatic way. Wrong in a why isn't he reacting the way I expected? Wait, tonight I'm going to give you 3 places men crave being touched. Not because they're childish or simple, because they're wired to feel safety, desire, and connection through certain signals. And once you understand the signals, you stop performing, you stop overthinking, you start leading the moment without saying a single extra word. You'll feel calmer, more in control, and he'll feel it too. This isn't about being sexy. It's about control and safety. Let me be very clear. This video is not about doing the most. It's not about trying to impress him. It's not about becoming someone you're not. It's about knowing the tiny things that flip the experience from ordinary to unforgettable. Because real intimacy isn't loud. It's not a circus. It's quiet confidence, the kind that makes him relax his shoulders, the kind that makes his attention lock onto you like your voice is the only sound in the room. And the secret is, when you touch the right places, you're not just touching skin. You're sending a message. You're saying, I'm comfortable with you. You're saying, I know what I'm doing. You're saying you can let go for a second. Men don't always have the words for that, but they feel it instantly. So if you're someone who's been shy, or you've been with a man who's hard to read, or you're coming back into dating after a long break, this is exactly for you. We're keeping it simple, classy, and powerful. And if you're wondering, what if I'm not naturally confident? Good. That means you're human. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build through tiny choices. A slower breath, a softer smile, a touch that lasts 1 second longer than usual. Those small moments train your nervous system to stay steady instead of scrambling for approval. And when you feel steady, you move differently. You stop asking, is this okay, with your energy, and you start saying, this feels right. And the best part, these touches work whether you've been together 3 dates or 10 years, because they speak the same language: reassurance, attraction, and quiet certainty in a single gesture. Men don't remember everything. They remember this. Here's what's wild. A man can forget the restaurant you went to. He can forget the exact song that was playing. He might even forget what you were wearing. But he won't forget how you made him feel in the quiet seconds. He won't forget the moment his brain stopped racing and he suddenly felt grounded, seen, wanted, chosen. That's the kind of memory that follows him home. That's the kind of memory that makes him text you the next morning with that "I was thinking about you" energy. And it doesn't come from doing something extreme. It comes from doing something intentional. When a woman touches him in a way that feels natural and confident, he doesn't just feel turned on, he feels claimed. In the sweetest, safest way, like you're giving him permission to be fully present with you. So as you listen, don't think, how do I copy this perfectly? Think, how do I make this feel like me? Because your softness is your power. Your calm is your power. Your timing is your power. One rule before we start: consent and reading the room. Before I tell you the 3 places, I want you to have one rule in your mind. The goal is connection, not pressure. Touch should feel welcome, easy, mutual. So we're always watching for the green lights. He leans in, he stays close, his voice softens, his body relaxes, he returns the touch. That's your signal that you're in sync. And if he doesn't, that's not a failure. That's information. You simply slow down, keep it playful, and let the moment breathe. The most attractive thing you can do is stay emotionally steady. Because confidence isn't taking. Confidence is knowing you don't have to force anything. Okay, now that you're in the right headspace, let's get into the first place. And it's probably not the one you think. Most women assume touch is a physical skill, where your hand goes, how long it stays, what you do next. But touch works in his head before it ever works on his skin. The reach itself is a message. It says, I'm comfortable here. I'm close on purpose. And your nervous system broadcasts that message loudly. If you're calm, he feels calm. If you're unsure, he feels the hesitation, even if you're smiling. That's why the same touch can feel romantic in one moment and awkward in another. Think of touch like a spotlight. Wherever you place your hand, his attention follows. It pulls him out of his thoughts and into his body. It tells him what you want without forcing him to guess. And when you do it slowly with a steady breath, it feels safe, grown, and confident. That's the real beginning. Psychology first, then chemistry. So don't worry about being perfect. Worry about being present. Presence is what makes a man feel chosen, and chosen is what makes him lean closer without you asking in that moment. When you touch the right way, you communicate 3 things without saying a word. First, desire. Not desperate desire, not please like me energy. Chosen desire, the kind that makes a man feel selected, like you're turning your attention on him for a reason. Second, comfort. Your touch says, I'm not rushing, I'm not performing, I'm here. That lowers his guard, because most men carry pressure and expectations all day. Third, permission. It's a quiet green light that tells him, you can lean in now. And here's what makes this powerful. Men often respond more to what you imply than what you explain. A warm touch can do what 100 compliments can't. It settles his nerves, sharpens his focus, and makes him think, oh, this feels different. That's why these three places matter. They're emotional switches, not random spots. When you hit them gently, he feels chosen for a while. Even if he doesn't talk about it, his body answers. He slows down. He listens more closely. He starts matching your rhythm because you've made the moment easy to enter. Here's where most women accidentally lose the moment. And it's not because you're bad at it. It's because you've been told to just be natural without anyone explaining what natural actually means. Random touch is when your hand lands somewhere with no emotional reason. It feels like a test. You touch him, then you wait, watching for a reaction, hoping you did it right. That nervous energy makes your fingers quick, choppy, and uncertain. And even if he likes you, he can feel the question behind it. Intentional touch is different. It has a purpose to calm him, pull him closer, or build a little tension. It's slower. It's specific. It lands, stays for a beat, then leaves with control. The difference is huge. Random touch feels like asking. Intentional touch feels like choosing. Picture this. You're sitting together, laughing, and your hand taps his arm like punctuation. That's fine, but it disappears instantly. Now imagine your hand resting there a second longer, your thumb moving once, and you keep talking like it's normal. Suddenly the air changes. He notices you. That's the upgrade, the same move with intention and timing. And once you feel that shift, you'll trust yourself. If you want him genuinely hooked, you don't rush the peak. You let the warmth build, like turning a dimmer switch instead of slamming a light on. Slow heat is powerful because it lets his imagination do half the work. A small touch, then a pause, a glance, then a soft smile that fades. You give him a little, then you let him step toward you. That's how you create pursuit without playing games. And here's what's sneaky about pacing. It makes you feel more confident too. You stop feeling like you have to deliver something and you start enjoying the space between moments. That space is where tension lives. It's where he starts thinking, what's she about to do? And why does this feel so good? Slow heat isn't manipulation. It's simply giving attraction time to bloom. So as we go through these three places, remember, you're not trying to impress him in 1 second. You're creating a mood. And a mood lasts longer than a moment. It lingers on his mind, even after you're already home for hours. This is the part almost nobody says out loud. Touch is a trust test. Not in a dramatic prove yourself way. More like a quiet question your body asks. Are we safe together? When you touch him confidently, you're showing trust in yourself and trust in the moment. And men feel that as respect. It tells him you're not trying to get something from him. You're offering closeness. That's why the right touch can soften a guarded man faster than a long conversation. It bypasses debate and goes straight to feeling. It says, I'm here with you, and you don't have to perform for me. And when a man feels safe, he becomes more present, more affectionate, and more responsive. And no, it's not the obvious spot everyone jokes about. It's subtler, classier, and it works in public too. Once you feel it click, you'll never forget it again, ever. Now, let's start with the first place because it shifts everything. Place number 1, the neck and jawline zone. Most women think the first real move has to be bold, like you have to do something dramatic to change the energy. But the truth is, the fastest way to shift a man from casual to completely focused is quiet, controlled touch right here, the neck and jawline zone. And I want you to hear this clearly. This isn't about being aggressive. It's about being intentional. The neck and jawline are where a man feels closeness before he even understands it. It's the line between we're just talking and something is happening. When your hand goes there, his brain instantly reads it as intimacy because that area is naturally protected. It's not a place strangers touch, and it's a place you earn. That's why it is different. This zone does 3 things at once. It pulls his attention, it calms his body, and it creates that quiet pressure that makes him stop multitasking mentally. You know that moment when you can tell he's listening, but you can also tell he's still half in his head. This is how you bring him all the way in. Now here's the key. It's not just where you touch. It's when. The right moment is when the distance between you already feels warm. Not rushed, warm. When you're sitting close enough that your knees could brush. When you're laughing and your voices drop a little lower. When you're in that small bubble where it feels like the rest of the room has faded out. That's your green light. If you try this while the vibe is still stiff, it can feel sudden. So let the moment soften first. Let him settle. Let your energy say, I'm comfortable, before your hand says it. Okay, here's the 3-step touch that feels like a movie scene but still feels like you. Step 1, start small. Use the back of your fingers, not your full palm. Lightly trace from the edge of his jaw toward the side of his neck, just once. Slow, like you're testing the temperature of the moment. Then pause, don't keep going, let it land. Step 2, hold the pause. This is where most women rush. They touch, then immediately pull away because their nerves spike. Instead, stay calm. Keep talking softly or simply breathe and smile. Your stillness tells him you meant it, that you're not asking permission. You're choosing closeness. Step 3, increase the pressure slightly, but only slightly. Not a grab, not a squeeze. Just enough that it feels real. The difference between a brush and a claim is that tiny shift, then release. That's it, 3 steps. And the reason it works is because it creates a beginning, a middle, and an ending. His body experiences it as a full moment, not a random touch. Now let's talk about eye contact, because this is where women either make it magic or make it awkward. You don't need to stare. Staring feels like a challenge. What you want is soft eye contact, like you're sharing a secret. Look at him while your fingers move, then let your eyes drop for a second to his mouth or his chest and come back up. That little movement tells his brain she's not nervous, she's present. And if you feel shy, here's the safest version. Touch first, then look away with a small smile. A confident woman doesn't need to prove anything. She lets the moment come to her. That's the energy that makes him lean in. Now, there's a whisper trick that makes this even stronger, and it's not about dirty talk, it's about closeness. When your hand is near his jaw or neck, lower your voice by just 10%. Not dramatic, just softer. Say something simple like, "Come here," or "You smell good," or even "I like this." Short, clean, natural. The words don't matter as much as the fact that you're close enough to say them quietly. That's what makes him still. His body recognizes intimacy when your voice drops and your touch stays steady. Here's why this works so well. Men are used to noticing with their eyes. This makes him notice his nervous system. He feels you, not just sees you. And once a man feels you, it's hard for him to go back to casual mode. But there's one rule that separates women who create obsession from women who create comfort. You stop before it peaks. This is going to sound counterintuitive, but listen, if you stay there too long, the moment becomes predictable. He adjusts, he adapts, the tension flattens, but if you touch him, let it build, then pull back just a second early, his brain doesn't get closure. It stays slightly open. Curious, hungry, so you touch his jaw, you let your fingers rest on his neck for a heartbeat. You smile, then you go back to what you were doing. You sip your drink. You keep talking. You act like you didn't just change the temperature in the room. And that's what makes him replay it. Now, a quick confidence note for you, because I know what you're thinking. What if he doesn't respond? First, don't panic. Response doesn't always look like fireworks. Sometimes the response is silence. Sometimes it's him swallowing. Sometimes it's him moving closer without saying anything. Sometimes it's him getting quieter because he's trying to hold himself together. Men often respond by becoming still, not by talking. Second, if he truly isn't into it, you don't shrink. You don't apologize. You simply soften the moment and shift back to comfort touch, like the hands or forearm, and you keep your energy calm. That calmness is what makes you irresistible, because it shows you're not chasing a reaction, you're in the mood. When you use the neck and jawline zone correctly, you're not trying to turn him on. You're telling him, "You're safe with me, I'm comfortable with you, and I know exactly what I'm doing." And once a man feels that combination, he starts looking at you differently, not just as someone he likes, as someone he wants to stay close to. Because this touch doesn't just create chemistry, it creates memory. And now that you know the first place, the second one is going to surprise you even more. Because it works in public, it works in daylight, and it works on men who seem hard to read. One more tiny detail that changes everything. Use your fingertips like punctuation, not like a constant sentence. In other words, don't rub and rub and rub. Touch, pause, and let him feel it. Then touch again, once, a little higher, and stop. This creates rhythm, and rhythm is what makes the moment feel intentional instead of needy. If you want to make it even smoother, anchor it to something normal. Brush a stray hair near his ear, adjust his collar, trace the edge of his jaw while you're laughing at something he said. These everyday excuses make the touch feel effortless, like it belongs there, and that's what keeps you classy and in control. When it feels effortless, he can't resist leaning closer. Place number 2, hands plus forearms, the hidden power zone. If the neck and jawline is the spark, then hands and forearms are the lock. This is the place where chemistry becomes comfort, and comfort becomes that quiet obsession where he keeps finding reasons to be near you. It's so underrated because it looks innocent. It's not dramatic. It doesn't scream, "I'm flirting." But inside his nervous system, it hits like a signal flare. She's close to me on purpose. Here's why men secretly love hand touch more than you think. His hands are what he uses to move through life, to work, build, drive, carry, fix, protect. When you touch his hands, you're touching the part of him that feels capable, useful, needed, and when you touch them with calm confidence, you make him feel valued without saying a speech. It's intimate because it's practical, it's real. It says, "I like the man you are." And this works whether you've been on 3 dates or you've been together for 10 years, because hands are always available. In public, in the car, sitting on the couch, walking across a parking lot. This is the touch that keeps a relationship warm in normal moments, not just special ones. Now, let's talk about the difference between comfort and claim, because this is the line that changes everything. Comfort touch is when you make him feel safe. It's the kind of touch that lowers his stress and makes his body soften. It's warm, steady, and gentle. Think resting your hand over his for a second while you're talking, brushing his fingers when you pass him something, holding his hand briefly while you laugh. Comfort touch is like saying, "I'm here." Claim touch is when you make him feel chosen. It's not aggressive. It's not possessive in a messy way. It's simply intentional. It's the touch that makes him think, "Oh, she wants me." Claim touch has a little pause in it, a little pressure, a tiny slow movement that says this is not accidental. Most women are naturally good at comfort touch, but they don't add the claim element. And that's why the moment doesn't stick. It feels sweet, but it doesn't leave an imprint. So here's the exact grip that makes him feel safe and wanted at the same time. When you take his hand, don't grab his fingers like you're holding a fragile object, and don't squeeze like you're trying to prove something. Instead, place your hand over his, palm to palm, and let your fingers close slowly, like you're settling into the touch. Then, with your thumb, make one small, lazy stroke across the side of his hand, just once, not a repetitive rub. One slow movement, then stop. That single thumb movement is the difference between cute and connected. Now, if you're walking together, there's a version that feels even more natural. You don't have to interlock fingers like a teenager. You can simply hook two fingers around his hand or rest your hand lightly on his wrist as you walk. It feels mature, it feels effortless, and it sends the same message: I like being close to you. Let's go one layer deeper. The forearms. This is where masculine energy lives. Forearms carry tension, strength, control. When you touch a man's forearm, especially the inside of it, he feels it as respect and attraction at the same time. It hits that protective part of him that wants to be solid for you. It's subtle but powerful. The spot is simple, about midway between his wrist and elbow, where the muscle tightens when he moves. If you touch it lightly while you're talking, then let your hand slide away slowly. He will notice, even if he doesn't say anything, because forearm touch feels like you're acknowledging him, not just as a guy you're spending time with, but as a man you're drawn to. Now, you might be thinking, but what if we're in public? What if people see? Like, that's the beauty of this place. It's public safe, it's classy, it looks like affection, not performance, and it creates a secret little world between you two, even with other people around. Here are a few effortless ways to use it in public without being obvious. 1. When he says something funny, tap his forearm once as you laugh, then leave your hand there for one extra beat. That extra beat is the spark. 2, when you're crossing the street or moving through a crowd, rest your hand on his forearm like you're guiding yourself, not controlling him. It feels natural and it makes him instinctively position his body to protect you. Men love that feeling. 3, if you're sitting across from him at a table, reach out and touch the back of his hand when you make a point. Hold it for 2 seconds, release, keep talking like it's normal. That calmness makes it feel powerful. Now let me tell you the part most women miss, the exit move. Touch doesn't end when you let go. It ends in how you let go. If you drop his hand quickly, it feels like you got embarrassed, like the touch was an accident. But if you release slowly, letting your fingers glide off his hand, you leave a trail in his nervous system. It's like you're closing a door gently instead of slamming it. That slow release makes him want to reach back for you. Here's the exact move. You're holding his hand, you give that single thumb stroke, you pause, then you loosen your grip slowly. Let your fingertips be the last thing that leaves him. Then you pull your hand back calmly, like you weren't trying to create anything. That tiny detail makes him think about you later. How to read his reaction, so you always feel in control. The difference between a woman who feels confident and a woman who feels anxious isn't experience, it's feedback. When you know how to read his reaction, you stop guessing. You stop doing that math in your head. Was that too much? Was that too soon? Did I ruin it? And you start moving through the moment like you belong there completely. Think of his reactions like traffic lights. Green means keep going. Yellow means slow down. Red means reset. And the most attractive part is that you don't panic at any of them. You stay calm, you stay soft, and you stay in control of your own energy. Green lights are the signs he wants more closeness, more warmth, more of you. The first green light is proximity. He stays near you even when he doesn't have to. If you shift on the couch, he shifts closer. If you step slightly toward him, he doesn't step back. He holds the space with you. The second green light is the voice change. Men often get quieter when they're hooked. Their words slow down. Their tone drops a little, like they're protecting the moment. The third green light is mirroring. You touch his hand, and a minute later, he touches yours back. You lean in, and he leans in too. The fourth green light is softness in his body. Watch his shoulders, watch his jaw, watch the way he breathes. If he relaxes, if he settles, if his chest rises slower, that's his nervous system saying, yes, stay here. And sometimes the biggest green light is the smallest one. He stops checking the world and starts looking only at you. Now, here's the important detail. Green lights don't always look dramatic. Sometimes the reaction is stillness. Stillness is not boredom. Stillness is focus. When a man is fully present, he often becomes quiet because he's feeling instead of performing. Yellow lights are different. Yellow doesn't mean stop. Yellow means give him room to adjust. The first yellow light is a small pullback that isn't cold, just cautious. He leans back a few inches, or he breaks eye contact for a second. That can mean he likes you and he's trying not to rush. The second yellow light is stiffness. His body feels tense, like he isn't sure where to place his hands or how to respond. The third yellow light is a sudden change in rhythm. Maybe he laughs too quickly, or he starts talking faster than before, like he's trying to escape the tension instead of sitting inside it. If you notice yellow, your move is simple: soften, don't chase. Switch to comfort touch. Stay in the safe zone for a moment. Hands, forearm, a light shoulder touch, and let the moment breathe. Keep your face relaxed. Keep your voice normal. The goal is to make him feel like he doesn't have to pass a test. When you respond to yellow with calmness, you become the woman who makes things feel easy. And easy is addictive. Now, the red light rule. Red is clear discomfort, clear boundaries, or clear withdrawal. If his body turns away, if he freezes completely, if he removes your hand, or if his energy closes like a door, that's red. And here's how you handle red with class. You don't punish him, and you don't punish yourself. You simply reset. You smile gently, bring your hands back to neutral, and continue like nothing is broken. You can even say something light like, okay, or no worries, in a tone that stays warm. This is also how you protect your self-respect. You don't beg for a reaction. You don't over-explain. You don't apologize like you did something wrong. You pivot smoothly. A woman who stays calm under red lights becomes unforgettable because she communicates one powerful message: I'm fine either way. Now let's talk about the deepest truth underneath all of this. Safe is the real turn on. Not safe as in boring. Safe as in emotionally secure. When a man feels safe, he stops performing. He stops guarding his ego. He becomes more affectionate, more playful, more open. Safety is what allows desire to last, not just spark. So your real goal is not to do more. Your goal is to create a space where more can happen naturally. That's why the touches you learned work so well. They aren't loud. They aren't demanding. They're invitations. And the best part is you always have control over pacing. You can slow down at any time. You can return to softness at any time. You can let him come towards you. And when he does, it feels mutual, real, and deeply satisfying because you didn't force it. You guided it beautifully. The perfect order, timing and escalation without awkwardness. Now that you know the three places, the next question is the one every woman quietly asks. Okay, what order do I do this in so it feels natural? Because even the best touch can feel awkward if the timing is off. Not because you're doing too much, but because you're skipping the emotional steps that make closeness feel earned. So here's the sequence that feels effortless. Hands and forearms first, then neck and jawline, then the lower back and hip line. That order works because it mirrors trust. We start where comfort lives, then we create spark, then we step into intimacy. Touch follows the same rhythm as a great conversation. Warm up, go deeper, then share something personal. Hands and forearms are safe closeness. They're public friendly, gentle and natural. Neck and jawline is focus. It turns the moment from friendly to magnetic. And the lower back and hip line is, we're connected now. It's the touch that says you're not just near him, you're with him. Now let me give you a rule that makes this easy. The 2-second rule. Most women either touch for half a second and retreat, or they stay too long because they get nervous. 2 seconds is the sweet spot. It's long enough to be felt, short enough to stay classy. Touch, hold for 2 slow breaths, then release. And when you release, release slowly. That slow exit is what makes him replay it later. Next, make it feel spontaneous, even when you're using a plan. You do that by tying the touch to normal life. You don't announce it. You attach it to something already happening. You're laughing at something he said, and your hand lands on his forearm for a beat. You're walking together, and you hold his hand for 1 second longer than usual. You lean in to say something quietly, and your fingers brush his jawline once. You move past him, and your hand rests at his lower back for a single second like it belongs there. The secret isn't the move. The secret is that you don't look nervous after you do it. You don't check his face like you're waiting for a grade. You stay relaxed. You keep talking. You keep breathing slowly. That calmness is what makes it seductive, because it tells him you're comfortable with closeness. Now we add the most powerful piece, return touch. This is how you make him mirror you, and mirroring is where attraction locks in. Touch once, then pause. If you touch him and immediately touch again, you're doing all the work. But if you touch once and give him space, you allow his body to answer. And when he answers, he becomes invested. He's not just receiving, he's choosing. So after you touch his hand, you let go and watch. Does he reach back? After you brush his forearm, does he stay closer? After you touch his jawline, does his voice soften? Those small answers are your green lights, and when you feel them, you move forward in the sequence without guessing. Here's a simple pacing map. One safe touch, pause, one spark touch, pause, one intimate touch, then pull back slightly. That's it. Your pauses are what keep it elegant. Your pauses are what make him step towards you. Now let's talk about the ending moment, because endings create the memory. If you drag the moment on, it becomes normal. If you end it with intention, it becomes a highlight. So when you feel the moment peaking, when he's quiet, close, and fully focused, you stop on purpose. You don't yank away. You simply shift. You smile. You look away for a second. You change the topic. You take a sip of your drink. You create a tiny reset. And that reset keeps his brain wanting more. This is the difference between pleasant and addictive. Pleasant is when everything happens and then it's done. Addictive is when everything happens and there's still a little unfinished warmth left in the air. One more thing that keeps this smooth: don't stack touches on top of each other like a checklist. If you touch his hand, then his jaw, then his lower back in the same 30 seconds, it can feel like you're speeding through moves instead of feeling the moment. Let each touch breathe, give it space to land, let him respond. Attraction grows in the pause, not the rush. And if you ever feel yourself getting in your head, use the reset trick, go back to comfort. Hold his hand, squeeze once gently, then release. Comfort brings the nervous system down. Once both of you feel steady again, you can create a spark the right way. Slowly, on purpose. And here's the best part: you don't need to become someone else. If you're soft, stay soft. If you're playful, stay playful. If you're quiet, stay quiet. The method works because it's based on rhythm, not personality. So the next time you're with a man and you want the energy to shift, don't rush. Start with the hands. Let the spark rise. Let him mirror. Then, when the moment feels steady, give him that one touch that feels like a secret. Because when your timing is right, you don't have to chase connections. Connection comes to you. That's how you become unforgettable without trying. Mistakes that kill the mood. And what to do instead. Mistake #1, touching like you're asking for permission. I don't mean permission with words. I mean permission with your energy. It's the quick tap and retreat, the nervous flutter of fingers, the oops, sorry vibe right after you touch him. When you touch like that, the message isn't I want you. The message is please approve of me. And even if he likes you, that uncertainty makes the moment wobble. This happens when you're excited or you really like him and you want the moment to happen already. So you stack touches back to back, you escalate quickly, and the air gets heavy in a way that feels pressured instead of playful. Even strong attraction can turn into mental noise. Where is this going? What does she expect from me? And when a man starts thinking, he stops feeling. What to do instead? Build rhythm. Touch once, then pause. Let him answer. Let him mirror. Attraction grows in the space you leave behind. Think of it like music. Too many beats become noise. But one clean beat followed by silence becomes tension. So give him tension. Hand touch, pause. Jawline touch, pause. Lower back touch, then pull back slightly and smile like nothing happened. That tiny pullback tells his nervous system, no pressure, just connection. Mistake #3, breaking the moment with nervous talking. You touch him, the energy shifts, and suddenly silence feels dangerous. So you fill it with words, you over-explain, you joke too much, you ask, is this okay? In a dozen indirect ways. But the best moments are usually quiet. Quiet doesn't mean awkward. Quiet means present. Quiet means the moment is alive. What to do instead? Let the silence work for you. If you feel the urge to talk, slow your breathing and soften your face. Keep eye contact gentle, not intense. If you want to say something, keep it short and clean. Come here. I like you. That feels nice. Then stop. Fewer words land deeper because they drop into the silence instead of fighting it. Mistake #4, losing your cool when it doesn't go perfectly. Sometimes you mistime it. He's distracted. He's in his head. He doesn't respond the way you pictured. And the danger is you collapse into embarrassment, pulling away sharply, apologizing, acting smaller, or trying to fix it with more effort. But the truth is, the most magnetic women don't need every moment to land perfectly. They stay emotionally steady. What to do instead? Reset with warmth and move on. Here are a few classy lines that keep you relaxed. Okay, I'm just teasing. You're cute, you know that? We'll take it slow. Or even a soft laugh and I'm in a playful mood today. Then change the topic. Shift back to comfort touch. Keep your tone warm, not wounded. Your calm tells him nothing is wrong. We're fine. That is pure power. Remember, intimacy isn't about intensity. It's about consistency. One calm touch at the right time beats 10 dramatic moves. Your job is to create a space where he can lean in without fear and where you can lead without overthinking. Keep it simple, keep it slow, keep it steady, and the mood won't just survive, it will grow. Here's a tiny checklist you can keep in your mind. Touch with your whole body, not just your hand. If your hand is warm but your posture is tense, he feels the tension. If your hand is confident but your eyes are panicked, he feels the panic. So match your touch with a slow breath, relaxed shoulders, and a soft expression. Also remember that you don't need to touch constantly. A single touch placed well can carry the mood for minutes. Let it echo, let him wonder. And if you ever feel unsure, choose the safest move, hands and forearms. That zone almost never creates discomfort and it rebuilds trust instantly. From there you can test the spark touch again gently when the moment feels warm. You're not racing, you're guiding. When you move like that, every touch feels natural because it's coming from calm, not from fear. Most importantly, don't measure success by his reaction in 1 second. Measure it by the overall vibe. More closeness, more softness, more eye contact, more comfort. That's how you know it's working. Before you go, let's lock this in so it feels easy the next time you're with him. Start with hands and forearms. That's the comfort zone. It relaxes his body, lowers the pressure, and makes closeness feel natural. Then move to the neck and jawline when the moment is warm. That's the spark zone. It pulls his attention out of his head and into you, like a quiet spotlight that says, I'm here with you. And when the energy feels steady, use the lower back and hip line for 1 clean second. Not a grab, not a rub, not a long performance, just a quiet anchor that says come closer without demanding anything. When you do it with relaxed shoulders and a slow breath, he feels your confidence before he even understands it. And that's what makes it unforgettable. Every time. Keep the rhythm simple. Touch once, pause, let it land, then release slowly. 2 calm breaths, a soft smile, a gentle exit. Don't stack touches like a checklist. Let each one echo for a moment because the pause is where desire grows. And if you ever feel unsure, go back to the hands. Hands reset everything. They bring you both back into safety, and safety is what makes chemistry last. When you move like this, he doesn't feel pushed, he feels invited, and that's what makes him stay close. Here's the real secret you're taking with you. You are not touching him to prove anything. You're touching him to lead the atmosphere. Your calm is the power. Your timing is the power. Your steadiness is the thing that makes him feel safe, chosen, and pulled closer without you chasing him. You don't need to be louder. You don't need to do more. You need to be intentional, and then you stop a second early, so his mind stays slightly open, still thinking about you after the moment ends. If you want a part 2, I'll show you the 3 words that melt his guard, and the 1 goodbye touch that makes him text you later. Drop a comment and tell me what kind of man you're dealing with, the shy one, the confident one, or the guarded one. And if this makes you feel calmer and more powerful, send it to a friend who needs that same reminder. You don't have to chase love, your energy can lead it.